let me go further in to certain things that I have posted on Quora. So I posted this here. This is a book called Facts Are Facts. And this is a quite interesting book. You want to read this, actually, to be honest, because this is man. And you know, it's quite ironic as well, because the thing is that this is written by Benjamin H. Freedman. And this guy, you know, he's Jewish himself. And, you know, for this reason, I actually call these people like Arthur Koestler and Benjamin H. Friedman. These are pretty much legends in my opinion. You know, these are prominent, even I would say prominent Jewish people, because they actually speak the truth. I love them, you know, and this book is pretty good. So I wrote things down from what you can read in the book. I also put pictures of it so that you can see, you know, that this is actually what is written. So I'm gonna go through it here. Okay, so I wrote here, a Jewish man, Benjamin H. Friedman, says that the word Jew was only introduced in the 18th century, and that the Messiah referred to himself as Judean, not as a Jew. Inscribed upon the cross when the Messiah was crucified reads the Latin words Jesus Nazarenus Rex Ludoreum, which means Jesus of Nazareth, ruler of the Judeans. He further writes, this form of religious worship known as Pharisaism, that's right, in Judea, in the time of the Messiah, was a religious practice based exclusively upon the Talmud. The Talmud in the time of the Messiah was the Magna Charta, the Declaration of the Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, all rolled in one. So that's what it was. That's literally what it was. Of those who practice Pharisaism, the Talmud today occupies the same related position with respect to those who profess Judaism. Rabbi Morris N. Kurtzer wrote a most revealing and comprehensive article with the title What is a Jew?, which was published as a feature article in Look magazine, June 17, 1952 issue. In that issue of Look, and I know about that magazine by the way, it's in Dutch, it's called Kijk. Kurtzer's article evaluates the significance of the Talmud to Judaism today. In that illuminating treatise on that important subject by most qualified authority at the time, Rabbi Kurtzer stated, the Talmud consists of 63 books of legal, ethical and historical writings of ancient rabbis. It was edited 5 centuries after the birth of the Messiah. It is a compendium of law and lore. It is the legal code which forms the basis of Jewish religious laws, and it is the textbook used in training rabbis. Now this is an interesting part here, you know, the fact that, you know, it is the basis of the Jewish religious law, and it is the textbook used in training rabbis. That's interesting, huh? Then he stated, from the birth of the Messiah until this day, there have never been recorded a more vicious and vile, libelous blasphemies of the Messiah or Christians and the Christian faith by anyone, anywhere or anytime than you will find between the covers of the infamous 63 books, which are the legal code which forms the basis of Jewish religious laws, as well as the textbooks used in the training of rabbis. He then proceeds to quote the most horrendous statements from the Talmud regarding ethical issues. As the origin of the present Jews in Palestine, he stated that those Jews that derive from Eastern Europe are not descendants of the Judeans or the lost tribes of Israel, but rather descendants of the Khazar, a nation most people do not even know of. It's true, you know, and also because it's suppressed. He writes, the so-called or self-styled Jews in Eastern Europe in modern history cannot be legitimately point to a single ancient ancestor who set even one foot on the soil of Palestine in the era of scriptural history. Research also revealed that the so-called or self-styled Jews in Eastern Europe were never Shemite, are not Shemites now, nor can they ever be regarded as Shemite at any future time by any imagination. What secret mysteries power has been able for countless generations to keep the origin of and the history of the Khazarian Empire out of the history textbooks and out of classes and schools in history throughout the world. The origin and history of the Khazar Jews and that empire, which existed in 741 BC in the 8th century, are certainly inconsistable historical facts. The Khazars were an Asiatic nation. The Jewish encyclopedia states Persian origin that converted to Talmudic Judaism, that had conquered a vast area of Eastern Europe, which was in turn later on conquered by the Russians in the 10th and 13th centuries. He writes, after a historic session with representatives of the three monotheistic religions, Christianity, Islam and Buddhism, King Bulan of Khazaria came to power in the 7th century to decide against Christian and Islam and selected as the future state religion the religious worship then known as Talmudism. So Judaism was first known as Talmudism and now known and practiced as Judaism. The Khazar Jewish people adopted the Hebrew alphabet and adopted words to their requirements from the German, Slavic and Baltic language. This language was also known as Yiddish. Yiddish uses the Hebrew alphabetic characters but is not Hebrew. In accordance to this history, the religion of the modern state of Israel is based on Kabbalistic and Talmudic traditions and is far removed from the worship of the Most High. They are the synagogue of Satan. In March 2006, while visiting Yeshiva University at Brooklyn, New York, a Jewish institute dedicated to the study of the Talmud, Cardinal Walter Kupser poses with Zevulun Charlop in holding the Talmud, a central book of Judaism. And then I have this picture here that says Identity Crisis, a brief history of the term of the Jews. Strictly speaking, it is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew or to call a contemporary Jew an Israelite or Hebrew. So what's a contemporary Jew? It's actually the Jewish. So the Ish are not the Israelite. You cannot call them like that because that's incorrect. You know, also because of the very fact that Yahusha, the Messiah, actually said to be Judean and not Jew. So yeah, I wrote it again. So this is the empire here. You see that? But this is Central Asia, what you see here. Okay, so this is what it is. This is not even Asia. This is Asia. This here is Central Asia. And that's where they come from. So y'all know the truth like me, but you keep on denying. They wrote under it. Anyway, this is what I want to show you. This doesn't have that much upvotes, but it has 105 views. I know you guys are eyeballing my post. Look at this. 105 views, 2 upvotes. That's fine, don't worry about it. But the thing is that you cannot deny what's written here. You can look up this book and you can then find it yourself. You can read it yourself, man. Like for real. I'm not lying. You know, like the truth is coming out, and you know, you're gonna see that their time is up. You know, every man will bend the knees. Every man will bend the knees. And Christ is gonna come back. Every man. It's gonna be you too. Oh, you'll be stubborn today, but you're gonna learn today.